Welcome to Sales Tips with Anna Scheller and the Tweeting Goddess, Samantha Kelly. We're going to be talking about how do you keep a conversation from being salesy? How do you start a conversation without getting salesy? And actually, Sam recommended that we have this because, I think, Sam, what do you think makes us for a salesy conversation? What makes it salesy to you?
Well, I don't like being sold to. I feel if someone is trusting a business card into my hand without even asking me about myself, doesn't listen to me, talks all about me, that strikes me as being salesy. Don't ask questions, don't show an interest in you. That would put me off someone.
That's really interesting because you and I did not talk about that. I asked that off the cuff because I wanted to hear what you had to say. But when I sat down and I thought, gee, what makes a conversation salesy? It's exactly those things. Talking about yourself all the time, talking about your product all the time. Also, I think not being prepared to take the conversation past yourself. It's you have to be prepared to talk to the other person about the other person. So what we're going to talk about, I actually have 4 points that I'm going to share with people to help folks not to avoid that trap of being salesy. So the first thing that you really need to do is you need to work on building a connection with the person because you need to have a customer-centered focus. So if you and I were at a networking event and I was to walk up to you, did not know you, probably what I would say is, hi, my name's Anna. What is your name? Play along with me for a minute, Sam.
Oh, sorry, Samantha.
That's okay.
My name is Samantha. You can call me Sam.
Oh, wonderful, Sam. That's great. What do you do, Sam? What brings you to this networking event?
Oh, I just came because I heard it was a good place to meet other business owners.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Well, what do you do? What exactly do you do?
Well, I help people, show them how to use Twitter effectively for their business, show them all the tips and tricks and connect them with the right people.
How did you get into such an interesting business?
Oh, that's a long story. That's a coffee story, Annie. And, that's a coffee story. But, but what do you do, Anna?
Well, actually, I help people get more sales by teaching them how to sell. It's actually quite similar to what you do. And so from there, what we're going to do is everything I did, see, what I would do is even with that, I even brought the conversation back to you. I said, yeah, I do something very similar to what you do. I made my conversation all about you. So you need to be interested in the other person. We think we're interesting. If I tell people all of the things I've ever done in my life, I've been in the Air Force, I have 7 children, I've been married for over 30 years. Oh my gosh, if I start talking about me, after a while, the eyes glaze over because really people aren't caring about me. If I'm there to make a connection with them. So I could make myself very interesting, but the fact is I need to be interested in the person in front of me. So how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, the first thing you do is you want to have a set of questions or statements that you're ready to engage a person with. So when you and I got started talking, Sam, the first thing I did is I said, well, what brought you here? So I was hoping that would be an opening into you telling me more about your business. So I didn't quite get there, but that's okay because I was ready with the next question. Well, no, but see, that's going to happen in a real networking event. Yeah, that's going to happen in a networking event. Somebody's going to be a little suspicious of why you've approached them. So they're going to tend to be a little maybe reserved. I heard this was a great place to learn about other businesses. Great. Well, what do you do? What do you do for business? So you're ready with some questions that are other person focused, because the goal is to get information about the other person. And also, now this may sound a little selfish, but it's actually an important part of being customer-centered. You want to control the conversation with questions so you learn more about the person that you're talking to. So you want to prepare questions and statements like the ones that I had. So what do? Wow, that's interesting. How did you get started? And then when you said the thing about coffee, see, my next step would have been, wow, I'm really interested in what you have to say. Would you mind giving me your business card? And I would really love to have a cup of coffee with you and learn more about what you do. See, I didn't sell you a thing and you offered the coffee. So I actually am taking the cue off of you. You're the one that wants to be real friendly, and you offered that. So I'm looking for things you're going to say that will help me get to know you better. Now, the thing about it, though, is that it can be a little hard to go into a conversation. It can seem even cold going into a conversation like that, because there are thoughts that run through our minds. Oh, that person's not going to want to talk to me. Oh my gosh, that's too much effort. Or I'm not sure what to say. Even if you have questions prepared, sometimes you're going to feel like they're not going to want to talk to me. So what you have to do is you have to put yourself in situations to practice. You could do it with a spouse. You could do it with a friend. You could come on Blab and practice those questions with me or Sam. All of those ways you want to practice, because that helps you. First of all, you'll realize that when you're approaching people, they're not waiting to eat you. I think a lot of times we're afraid to approach people because we're afraid that they're going to be rude. We're afraid just you name it. A lot of people, we have a lot of different fears when it comes to meeting people we don't know. And so if you practice, and it becomes natural when you're talking to people, then all you're doing is engaging in a conversation with somebody that you're already comfortable with. You're comfortable in your own skin. And if you're comfortable, it will immediately put the other person at ease or help them not to be so guarded with you. I like to say, approach it like you were approaching a friend. Don't consider them a stranger. Consider them a friend already. Somebody that you want to get to know, someone you want to spend a little time with, like you would a friend. And if you go into the conversation thinking you're already talking to a friend, that makes the conversation so much easier. So much easier. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Okay, so so the first thing, let's say you're a little bit shy, Anna, but you need to get sales. Okay, so the first thing you're suggesting is that you just kind of look at someone, you find someone that you think maybe is on their own or something. Would that be what you'd advise? Or,
you know, I would, because somebody that's by themselves is also looking to find someone to talk to. Yeah. And I think that would be that would be great. Or sometimes I actually I'll go onto the edge of a conversation, and then at an appropriate point, I'll go, wow, that was really interesting. I hope you don't mind if I butt in. And I'm not going to hang around a conversation that's obviously intimate. I'm going to hang around a conversation where it's just, you know, job talk. That's another way, because you can listen, you can hear something that, you know, could give you an entrance into the conversation, as long as you're ready to jump in, which if you had something like, oh, well, that's interesting. I'd be interested in hearing more about that. If I say I'm interested in what you have to say, you're going to talk to me. It's all about showing interest in the other person.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like everything, isn't it? It's like all about building relationships. So if you, okay, so the first thing you're saying is you go over and you say, like, what's the opening line, I suppose, is really, like, let's get back to basics here. So really, I want to know what would be the opening line. So if someone, let's say, searches, how do I start a sales conversation without being salesy? What is your top two starting points?
My top 2 starting points. First of all, I would walk up to someone and say, "Hi, my name is Anna. What's your name?" Just ask for their name. The second thing would be, "So tell me a little bit about what you do." That will start a conversation. Everybody is willing to tell you about what they do. And then from there, you listen. When you think they're done talking, pause. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. And that will give them a chance to think about what they want to say, or you'll know if they're done, and you can ask another question. Like, "Oh, that's interesting. How did you get started in that business?"
Okay, so you're asking them to start talking then. So really you're just listening.
Practice the pause. And I will tell you that the pause, I wish I was smart enough to think of that one by myself. Brian Tracy actually does the 3-second rule. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Because that gives people a chance. I practice it with my family all the time, and it really helps them to feel like they're heard. You know, because what we do a lot of times, we interrupt, but we tend to take that into our business as well.
And sorry, what's your name? WS has said the pause is so scary. William, the pause is so scary. And pause can do so much, can't it? Though, yeah.
The pause is powerful because it forces the other person. See, the other person's just as scared of the pause. And because they're afraid of it, that will get them to talk more. And that's what you want. You want them to talk, because you're going to do the talking later once you get them away from the networking event. Too many times when we first call people or talk to them at networking or somewhere, we're just too busy spouting off what we are doing. And really,
I agree.
you have to get them away from that conversation and then take them into another conversation to set an appointment for a longer conversation. But you have to do it in steps. I mean, it's like a date, or it's, you know, you don't, a lot of times you can't go from 0 to 100 on the first date. You have to take it slow, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I never actually, you know, usually what I do, but then again, a part of me is like, maybe I don't sell myself at all really at networking events, which is probably a mistake too, because I actually just spend the time talking to people and chatting and building relationships. And then, you know, if I'm interested in what they do, I might ask for their card, but I don't actually actively sell myself at networking events. Do you think I should, or do you think I should just do what I do?
I think you need to be very targeted in your conversation so that you are asking you're asking more and more information that's helping you to get more leads. So not necessarily that you're selling yourself, but that your questions are helping you to understand other people's social media needs, so that you can say, you know, I have this free resource. You could offer a free resource. I have something free. Would that be something you might be interested in? I could send it to you. Just, you know, give me your business card.
You know, maybe I'm actually quite clever and I don't realize it, because what I normally do is I'd say, oh, hi, are you on Twitter? And they might tell me, no, God, no, I don't do Twitter. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Or if they are on Twitter, what I do is I say, oh gosh, I'll follow you. So then I follow them. They go, oh my God, you've got like 32,000 followers. And then the conversation goes into like, what is that what you do? I'm like, yeah, sure. I teach people how to use it. And that's how, do you know what I mean? So
you see, you could do a demo with somebody when they go, oh my gosh, what's Twitter? And you go,
yeah.
Do you have a minute for a demo? I just want to show you a little bit about Twitter. So you have a lot of possibilities. You could, and that's not even being salesy. You're showing people an interest. You're helping them understand a new social media platform they might not be familiar with. But in general, you don't want to sell your services as Twitter. You just want to get them to go to the next step. The next step would be to receive something from you, some help, something free, a phone call. You just want to lead them to the next step. You don't want to sell them Twitter packages. You want to lead them to a conversation, or, hey, I'll follow you on Twitter and I'll tag you a couple of times and see what you think. You know, and that's customer centered, because what that is, you're going, I'm gonna make you look good. I want to help you look good. You know?
Yeah. Sometimes I retweet something they've just put out or something. You know, and then they go, look what happened since you retweeted me. You know, so they get all excited. Excuse me. Enough about me. Hi, Dan. Welcome to the room, Dan. Sorry.
Yes.
You were just recording this segment, so do you want to just get the main points across before we stop recording, and then we can let people into the room maybe to ask questions?
Okay, so what makes a conversation salesy is when we're talking about ourselves and we're talking about our product and we're not interested in the other person. So when you go into when you're introducing yourself to someone, when you're trying to get to know somebody for the first time, then you want to have questions and statements that you're asking the person that are other person focused. Things like, hi, my name's Anna. What's your name? Oh, so nice to meet you. I'm curious, what do you do for a living? Or what's your business? Oh, that's fascinating. How did you get involved in something like that? I've never thought of doing anything like that myself. What stirs you up to do something like that? And you keep asking them questions, and they go, oh, what do you do? Oh, you know what? I help people make sales. But it's really exciting to hear about what you're doing and how you're growing your business. Tell me a little bit more about how you've grown your business. And so I turn the conversation back on them. And then in the conversation, I hear something that I can help them with. And I said, you know, I'd really love to stay in touch with you. And I have a free resource you might be interested in. Could I get your business card and send that to you? Who's going to turn down a free resource? Nobody. And I have not done anything to promote myself. Nothing. So you want to have questions and statements prepared, and you want to listen and pause. And let the other person be afraid of the pause. The pause is powerful. That's it.
What do you do after the pause?
Well, it depends on what they do. But chances are they're going to say something that you can say, oh my goodness, I would love to, I help people with that problem. If you'd be open to it, I would love to send you one of my free resources that addresses that. Would you be interested? And then, I mean, it's not a surefire way all the time, but most people, because you've shown an interest, and be genuine, you know what? People can smell disingenuity a mile away.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
You have to be authentic. You have to be genuinely interested in the other person.
Yeah.
Which is easy for... Yeah, it's easy if you take your mind off your bank account and put it on the person in front of you. And then it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, thank you, Anna. That was very good. I'd like to see this video on YouTube now very soon.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for joining me, and thank you for making it.